Hello, I'm Stephen D'Antuono, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office. The FBI is working diligently with our partners at the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and the D.C. Metropolitan Police to identify the person responsible for placing pipe bombs in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Washington, D.C. on January 5th, the evening before the violence at our nation's capital. A little over 2 months ago, the FBI requested the help of the American people, and you answered the call. I'm coming to you today to once again ask for your help with our pipe bomb investigation.
Back to the Friends of Zeus podcast, or Foz as we're calling it. I'm just lost on that. This is episode 150. Can you believe it? 150.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Guess who's back? Shady's back. That's us. We're Shady.
Yeah, that's real. That's dedication to the show right there. That we didn't. We've gone more than one season. Sometimes there's a pilot season, and then the show never comes back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going like 3 years strong now.
We had to write some people out, bring in some new people, but
we had like a new child at one point, you know, that they all do that, the sitcoms.
And I'm telling you, the one thing that really makes doing this podcast worth it for me is the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we get paid to do it. I mean, being able to quit our jobs and live a lifestyle that most people don't even dream about. That's really, it's really what this podcast has done, for all of us, I think.
Yeah, at least we're honest about it.
It's a disturbingly abundant affluence.
Yes.
Rogan, right down the hall. Actually, he's not down the hall. I'm at Patriot Cafe in downtown Fairfax.
Nice, live on location.
You come into the show, I buy you a beer. Maybe.
There you go.
Anyway, so tonight is Mike's, it's his cart to steer or boat to
steer,
steer,
boat to pedal, something like that. Yeah, man.
It's your pedal
to row.
Paddle away.
Boat to row.
I'd like to, and it's nice to have Tom back from
Tom.
He's taking a sabbatical
back
from his sabbatical. And so he is here tonight, and Desiree is somewhere fantastic. I have no idea where exactly, but
he's over the ocean or sea or
in the beautiful Nassau.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's how great is that? She's doing this, from live from the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's a commitment, man.
Yeah, it really is.
That's awesome.
I think that she may be our first
lovely wallpaper behind me.
Yes, I can see that.
Wallpaper? I thought it was real stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was marble.
It's wallpaper.
That's a shame.
All right. So for tonight's show, we'd like to start it off and the official announcement. I think we're going to call it here tonight here at Foz headquarters that I think Trump has won the New Hampshire primary. I think
That's
we can officially say that. I just got word in from our correspondents. Who's up there? Is Tor up there? I think he's our official
I think
correspondent.
he is up there.
He's up there voting. Did you see what was happening with the vote?
Yes.
We're running out of ballots. I think a lot of the Democrats are going because you can vote in any I don't know if you guys have ever done that.
Yeah, they're all voting for Nikki.
Yeah, in New Hampshire.
Oh,
yeah, she's still ahead of Ron DeSantis.
Is she the one that was saying that she should be or maybe she wasn't saying, but people were saying that she should be qualified as a person of color because
she's like Native American or something. Is that it?
Bye.
No, she's Indian, from India.
Oh, she's Indian.
Her heritage is Indian.
Okay.
She refers to herself as a brown person.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, she's also
she's already disqualified.
No, she's also the candidate that says there should be no anonymity on any social like media platform, and that everybody should register, and this way everybody will be nicer. But so we all give like all of our more information to the government than they already have.
Wait, I'm going
Yeah.
Tony Stark with the non-registration, not the Captain America fucking commie.
Well, I think
Ray's got his real name on the screen there.
yeah, I've got my real name. I think Haley would be good because, I mean, if I am looking for a Republican presidential candidate, I want to pick the person that the Democrat media is telling me that I should pick. And all the
Right.
people that are supporting her who are Democrats, I think they're probably onto something. So maybe we should all vote for her.
Yeah,
But-
on the crack.
So, man, what was that? Some weird light just went
I heard
by.
that
So-
too.
So tonight we're gonna this story kind of came up out of nowhere for me personally. I know that all of us here on the podcast, we kind of heard about it differently. I think I heard about it first on it's probably Bongino's show, which I don't really listen to that much, but I happened to catch this interview with the reporter and just
I
made
love
a note of it.
Living on a Prayer is a fucking classic.
There you go. Yeah.
That's
That's a bad joke.
It's fine. It's fine.
That's good, Zeus.
So
Halfway there.
Jesus.
So what we're talking about, it goes back to January 6, 2021, and the subtopic is going to be the mysterious pipe bombs that were left outside, one outside the DNC headquarters, the other one near the Republican National Committee headquarters, but they refer to it as the one that was found at the RNC. And there's been a lot of questions about this story, the situation that understandably so have been overshadowed for a long time from just the general events that went on January 6, 2021. But what we have been able to discern on the story, a lot of it just doesn't line up. And back during the summertime, back in June, the House Committee on the Judiciary Committee, I think, I'm not sure, forgive me, I'm not sure which, I think it was Judiciary, interviewed, as part of their oversight, interviewed this gentleman who was an FBI, he worked for the FBI, he was an investigator, Judiciary Committee. And his name was Mr. D'Antuono. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. They interviewed him back in June, and they wanted to hear about what he had found out about the investigation into these pipe bombs. And what they learned was a little alarming, because they learned that there's a lot that we officially don't know. And there's a lot of data, and the data doesn't quite match what the official story is. So the members of the committee wrote this letter from U.S. Congress, on their letterhead, Congress of the United States, June 14th, 2023, to Christopher Wray, who's the head of the FBI, asking him for some additional insight and information into what this gentleman, Mr. D'Antuono,
I think
was testifying.
I think
Yeah.
Question.
something to say.
Yes.
Question. Is it data or data?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's
I know.
info. Yeah. I
I
don't.
think Data is the guy on Star Trek, and Data is information.
Okay. So it's
Okay,
data.
we'll go with data then.
It's how we pronounce it in my house. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to jump to a slideshow real quick. And here's the thing. Here's what I knew. And I'll just tell real quick, 60 seconds. What I had heard is that this is leading up until just a week ago. What I heard and what always had accepted was the night before January 6th. So that would be January 5th in the evening, that some person planted 2 pipe bombs, one outside the DNC headquarters, one outside near the RNC headquarters. These bombs did not go off. They were discovered, curiously, right around the same time that the Capitol grounds were being breached. Not the Capitol itself, not the building, but the grounds around the building, around that time when they were being breached, or when these pipe bombs were officially discovered. And what I heard at the time, or a little bit later, not at the time, but a couple months later, was that they were inert, that they couldn't explode. We've
Right.
since, there's a lot of research that in the FBI that says that they were not inert, but whatever.
Right.
That's not even
Conflicting
really
stories, right?
conflicting stories. So let me start the slideshow just to have some visual accompaniment here.
Slideshows.
What? What'd you say? Live
Some
show?
pause slideshows.
Oh yeah, man.
My
It's like we
favorite.
gotta. Oh, Fagan! Ow, man, my cat is attacking me. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So
First try.
first try. So this is just a general map, and I know Zeus. I mean, you guys may know this. I mean, Tom lives nearby. You know, Tom works. Where's the CIA building? Somewhere around here. So he knows this area well. And Zeus probably knows it pretty well. But this is where my mouse is. Can you guys see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, so it's all around the US Capitol. If this is the mall, if you go this way off the side of the screen and you keep going, you'll get to the Washington Monument. And then
Yeah,
if you
what's a
keep
peace monument?
the what?
The peace monument. What's that?
What the
don't know.
fuck is the Spirit of Justice Park?
Don't want to pay
What the
attention to
fuck is this
those.
map?
So you go,
What is the Shakespeare Library?
it's where Shakespeare lives. So
Oh.
you have the Washington Monument, and if you
Not
keep
a
going,
lie.
then you've got the Lincoln Memorial, and then perpendicular off the mall would be the White House, which would be about northwest of the Capitol. Down here at the bottom, this 310 First Street Southeast, that's the address where the second pipe bomb was found. I'm sorry, the first. That's outside the RNC. And then down here at 430 South Capitol, that's the DNC, Capitol Street Southeast. This red arrow here, this is the general direction of pedestrian traffic on the 6th. I just put it in here for people's reference. Basically, yeah, basically coming down Pennsylvania Avenue around where it intersects with Constitution, and the crowd kind of broke off and went up here. Now around here where I'm circling, if you see this little road that goes around, this was the perimeter that, again, I didn't see it myself, but apparently had some like landscape fencing, I guess you would call it. Like, you know, that like that orange plastic fencing. It's like, but I
Keep
think
the
it was
rabbits
green.
out.
Yeah, I think it was green. So some of that was here. And this is where that was breached, and people filled up this whole lawn. And most of the pictures you see are taken from this perspective, looking up at the Capitol.
I'm fairly confident that that lawn is where, back in my day, when I did partake in things, that lawn that you're talking about is where the 420 festival is every year. You know what the
I didn't know that. Yeah, I know what I didn't know they did that on the Capitol grounds.
Yeah, they do it as close to the Capitol as they can because they're trying to make a statement, man.
Well, it's all good now. Another thing, just from a note, because you hear these names a lot, the Rayburn House office building and the Cannon House office building. These are two office buildings that are connected to the actual Capitol via tunnels. You usually don't see Congress critters running across here. They're underground, there's trains and all that good stuff. The reason I'm pointing this out is in this area in DC, when people talk about the Capitol, it's really this whole complex that people are talking about. It's not just the building. Another thing that's kind of interesting that a lot of people don't realize, if you can see here, literally right across the street is the Supreme Court of the United States. So this is, you know, where they do all that stuff. When was that? Last summer, the guy self-immolated on the steps there. We didn't.
Bringing back Buddha.
It's literally right behind the Capitol building. So just to give some context. So after everything happened on January 6th, 2021, I would say, I mean, probably 2% of the news coverage, if my memory serves me correctly, mentioned this pipe bomb situation.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, this
Yeah, it was
photo.
inundated with the insurrection.
Yeah, they did. They mentioned it.
They did mention it. And this photo here is the one I recall. This got shown quite a bit. These other photos I don't remember seeing, but they were published. I mean, this was published obviously a few years ago. They have pictures of his shoes. This is a picture of this is the DNC pipe bomb. You know, guy
They're
wearing a
very
backpack.
unique shoes there.
Yeah, very unique
You would think they
shoes.
would be able to find those.
It
You
looks
would-
to me like it was
So hold on, wait a
it's-
second. How did that picture of the shoes looks like they have like the shoes. So do they have the shoes?
Well, they
That's
took
probably
this picture
A replica.
and then they're able to pair it. So a lot of people don't realize this, but and I don't know how they do this now, but at the FBI, they have samples of like every shoe, every auto paint, every gun manufactured, every type of carpet, textile. They have samples of all this stuff. So when they get these grainy photos, they can match it with something that's practical because they want to see what the tread looks like. Anyway, I don't know that that's the case, but
with AI the way it's going, they're going to be able to do this even better within the next like 5 years.
probably, yeah.
Sure.
So the
Wait,
story,
you're saying somebody from the FBI could have just grabbed those shoes from the evidence room and wore them over and dropped? Okay, never mind.
it's possible. I mean,
Yeah, sure it is.
I don't know. So what we're going to do in this episode, and I'll just jump back to here, and we were kind of discussing this. A lot of times on Foz episodes, we make a point to get to the very bottom of it, and we're all super knowledgeable, and you know, it's sort of like it's like amazing how but on tonight's episode,
hold on. I'm cutting through the sarcasm.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. But on tonight's episode, we're really just trying to bring this topic to everyone's attention. There's so much to read, so many videos that you can watch, which we'll link to. And I know we say we will and we don't, but we will. On this one, we really just want to introduce this to people who may have missed it on Bongino. Like if you missed Bongino and Tucker, but you're a Friends of Zeus podcast viewer, we didn't want you to miss it. So we know we have and I'll stop being sarcastic. So here's what we were able to discern from this article that came out on January 18th. We're going to fast forward from the summertime. There's a website, news website called Revolver. And this gentleman, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Do you guys remember what his last name was? The reporter?
Lamanami or something?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Needy or Netty?
I think it's Nettie. We'll look that up. We'll give him credit. But this article, which is, you know, many pages long, 20 pages long, has a lot of video embedded in it, basically serves to present the facts as we know them right now. Whether they're contradictory or not, whatever. This is a list of things that have been testified to, videos that have been released, data that we have right now. And basically the story as it progresses is that the night before January 6, 2021, and this is approximate, at 7:52, this is an actual picture of the actual device, was left next to a bench outside the side garage entrance of the DNC. And that it was left here at 7:52 p.m. and then was discovered the following day at approximately 1:10, 1:09, 1:05.
It was before 1 o'clock because the vote was
before?
supposed to start at 1 o'clock, right?
Well, the RNC one was found before, but the DNC one I think was found right around 1. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's just important to remember that. Now, if you look at this bomb, this has what we now know is just a standard old school kitchen timer device, you know, that you would use if you're cooking your oodles and noodles because that's all you can afford, because anyway, so this is your kitchen timer and it only goes up to an hour. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is this was left at 7:52 p.m. the night before. It sat there for 17 hours until it was discovered around 1 p.m. the following afternoon. And this timer, it only goes up to an hour. So that's one.
Was it on 0 or was it on 60 though?
I'm not sure about the DNC one. On this picture, it looks like it's on 0 to me, but
Well, you know,
the
if I may,
RNC one was set
20
with 20
minutes
minutes
out.
left. The RNC one was set for 20 minutes left.
here's the thing that I'm noticing already. It
Yeah.
looks like every pipe bomb we've ever seen before. Could there be something to the idea that make it look like something everybody's seen before to like resonate? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it
Quite-
looks exactly like I would think a pipe bomb looked.
Yeah, quite possibly. And here's a wider shot. This was taken by a Metropolitan Police officer in DC.
See, it looks just like the other one.
It looks very obvious.
No, that's the
like,
DNC
could they
one.
showed it in
I was
the bushes
joking.
more?
I'm sorry, Desiree?
That it looks super obvious that it's there. Like they could have just shoved it in the bushes a little bit more, but
Yep.
they didn't.
Almost as though they wanted it to be seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is, and again, these videos are in the story, which we will link to, and I suggest everyone take the time. It doesn't take that long. I think within an hour you could read this and watch all the videos and be very much up to speed. Now, this building right here is the DNC headquarters. This right here is a garage entrance. This is a Metro police car. Again, that's what we call the police here in DC, just Metro
There's
police.
a scooter. They got a scoot in the picture.
There's a scooter, and this is a Secret Service Dodge Durango that is there with Secret Service guys. And the reason why that's there is because at this time on January the 6th at around 1:10 in the afternoon, Kamala Harris is in this building. So this car has Secret Service people that are assigned to her, and that's why they're there. Now, the bench where the bomb was, if you can see my mouse right here, is about the approximate location where the bomb was found. And this guy right here is taking the picture, that picture. See this man? He's a Metro police officer. He's taking that picture. So the bomb was in here right at the bottom of the where the bench is.
Can I
This
ask-
picture, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say, so did forensics find like was there any explosives in this device at all?
So this is when you go back to the testimony, and one of the things that the Congress critters on the Judiciary Committee were asking Ray in this letter from June 14th of 2023 was clarification on that, because although everyone had kind of been told that these were inert, his testimony is saying in here is saying that in addition, this is from the letter from Congress. In addition, Mr. D'Antuono provided testimony about the viability of the pipe bombs, which, according to reporting, were deemed to be inoperable. While Mr. D'Antuono referenced a report from the FBI laboratory in Quantico, Virginia, that the pipe bombs were viable and, quote, they could explode and they could cause harm or death, Mr. D'Antuono also acknowledged that the timer used on the pipe bomb could not have detonated the pipe bomb given the time already elapsed between placement and discovery, which means it has a 1-hour timer and it was placed 17 hours ahead of.
Is it escaping
event.
anybody else's thought process that it looks like an ass pounder 2000 mega dildo?
I didn't,
Yeah, I'm not
I think they
thinking that.
referenced that here in the letter from the committee, but
You're the only one that knows what those look like, Zeus.
yeah.
Oh
So-
boy, do I!
I
It might
just,
be an ass pounder 1915 model, but
With-
it's an ass pounder definitely.
with the wireless, yeah. So this one here, I just put in, and I'm not going to get into it. I just did it so we could see it. This is the one that was found near the RNC, but I'm not going to even get into that one right now. So previously we saw the picture of the guy taking the picture, and around here where it's circled is where the bomb was. We'll refer to this
Looks like a
bench
tree.
as bench 1, bench 2. Again, the scooter is around over here, probably where Zeus is on the screen here. This is surveillance footage that was taken
There's that scoop.
presumably
Scooter's still there.
on January 5th when the bomb was being placed. And the interesting part is, again, here's the scooter.
Did the fucking perpetrator ride the scoot
No,
to the location? Okay.
no. Here's the perpetrator, that the suspect
Oh, I see.
sitting
Okay.
on the bench,
No, I see him.
and he comes
Yeah,
into
he's-
frame.
Again, quality to him.
You can watch this video, the full thing. It's about 7 minutes long, but he comes in, he sits on this bench, sits here for a few minutes. He walks out of frame this way. About 10 minutes later, he walks back into frame here in a different camera angle, and he sits down on bench number 2, which is this bench. Okay, so you see, you get the perspective here. So right here, he's bending down. I tried to capture the time. This is approximately where he's supposedly putting the bomb here in this bush. The question that that Congress has, that I have, and that the writer of this article has, and a lot of people have, is, and we know it exists, where's this angle for this time? In other words, this angle here would show a lot more clearly what he's doing, but this is the only one that we have released.
May I ask, and I hope I'm not stepping on what you're getting at.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
With the angle that we don't have the full view or the full time period, would that be coming from the DNC headquarters? Would that be where that camera is?
Yes.
Huh.
Well, it's technically, so it's mounted, it's there because of the DNC headquarters, and it's on their property, but it's operated by the Capitol Police.
But the other one is from somewhere independent.
Yes, Desiree, I believe so. No, these are all Capitol Police cameras.
Okay.
These look like two very different video camera types. Like this one with the red circle on it looks almost like a CCTV image, and this one over here looks maybe like a digital, like a good camera picture.
It could either be the
Like,
lighting, or one camera might just be newer than the other camera.
Yeah, it could be lighting, could be, and they are shooting from different angles. The thing that, and again, I'm not a subject matter expert on video frame rates. I have a friend of mine who is, and I'm actually going to ask him about this stuff in a few days.
Because hold on, if that is a CCTV camera, like the frame rates would be weird, like because it's like 7 frames per minute, or I don't know, something like that. So it's very slow. You can miss a lot.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So here's the thing, and this is where, again, you can really go down the rabbit hole on this. The video, both of these that have been released so far by the government, are a 1 frame per second frame rate. Okay, both of these.
Okay.
Nobody even makes 1 frame per second surveillance cameras anymore.
So my thought is that,
is that good or
these
bad?
are government buildings, and they probably were one of the first ones to put cameras up. These could be very old cameras.
Could be, but if you, and again, I want everyone to look at this themselves and make their own judgment. In the article from Revolver, what he's trying to make the case of is they're just not out there anymore. And he points to other, well, not in
they're
the
not
article.
currently available, but these could have been purchased like 30 years ago.
No, 100%. But the thing is, even like pawn shops and anything now, they're into like 15 to 30 frames per second. Like, it's just unusual that the DNC, the headquarters of like one of the 2 major, would have 1980s video camera technology.
I don't know, it doesn't surprise me.
It just seems odd. So here's
I'm
another.
shocked that this shit recorded, honestly.
I'm sorry?
The one is
I'm shocked.
Go ahead.
I'm shocked that these cameras even recorded.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, because that's always the excuse. So the cameras weren't working, or they wouldn't record, or whatever.
Well, here's the thing, Desiree, and that's my initial response too. But a lot this footage that we're looking at right now, this was not released until I think in 2023. So this footage here was not released earlier. We didn't have access to this. We know there's more. We know that this is being selected and being shown. We're only seeing parts from different cameras where we don't have all the footage, which is one of the things that the committee is asking for. Is they want full disclosure. They want all of the data.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why are they releasing one now? Yeah,
right. Here's the thing. Whatever your opinion is on this footage is being curated. Someone is deciding what to release and what not to release. They're not releasing it all.
That question.
Yeah.
So a lot, like in like murder cases or whatever. So a lot of like this photo looks very incriminating. It looks like that guy is sitting on that bench and putting that bomb there. That's what it looks like. And you can see, okay, he's sitting on the bench 2, and the other ones you couldn't really tell where he was sitting. Well, this kind of information would be something that only the person that did it would know. So they wouldn't want to release that information to the public because
that's possible.
anyone then can say, "Oh yeah, I was sitting on that bench," and then they wouldn't really know who.
Yeah.
It is.
No, it's a valid point. Absolutely. Again, this is what I was saying earlier. This was his arrival. He left.
Is this inverted color? So are we to assume the sweater is actually black or a dark color?
No, I think this is black and white. I think it's white because that other photo from the RNC side, it looked white to me as well.
Well, white would certainly, if you had to run away from the area in any kind of expeditious manner, white is certainly going to blend in better when you're running down the street. I mean, just a thought.
I'm going to jump out of this slideshow. So a couple things. And again, you guys have, and these are great questions. That's why I kind of wanted to throw this out there, and I'll toss it around here. One thing to keep in mind with the time frame on this, and this is the part that I just can't get my head around. So this pipe bomb, we'll just talk about the DNC one. It supposedly left 17 hours before 1 o'clock on the 6th. 1 o'clock was the time that Congress was meeting to certify the election. So this bomb was left out there 17 hours previously with a timer on it that is only good for 1 hour. Okay. So, and it's either inert or it's super dangerous. Who knows? So before,
can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's inert, but was there explosive material inside of these?
The testimony from the lead investigator for the FBI, who worked on this case for 2 years, says that there was explosive material in it and that it was a dangerous pipe bomb that could have exploded.
So basically, the guy that built it is an idiot.
So here's where we go. So here's everyone put on their seatbelts because we're going to go down the rabbit hole. You can't hear me?
No, Jack's trying to talk.
Hey, Jack, what you got, man?
No, I can't hear you.
Got no volume from you, Jack.
I did hear him earlier, though. Yeah.
Oh,
so
great. One light goes down. All go out.
He'll jump in.
One more question. So putting the pipe, so if these were loaded pipe bombs, putting them where he placed them, what kind of damage was he hoping to do? Because it's not really going to damage the building or anybody inside.
It was right next to the garage where people were coming in and out.
But it's timed to go off like
maybe
I don't know. He doesn't know who's going to be coming in or out at that time.
Because if it was placed at 7 whatever and it was set for an hour, that puts it like I don't know 8
go off in the middle of the night.
Like nobody's going to be there.
No one's going to be there. So the theory that a lot of people have pushed on the pipe bomb from all walks of life is that it was there. These were put there as a diversion. That whoever put them there, put them to divert resources from the Capitol building to these two places, which you can see in that original map I showed, where everyone's coming in off Pennsylvania Avenue, and these two headquarters are actually, let's see, west, which side? Yeah, they're south of that building there.
Were they close to each other, or?
Yeah, they're about 0.2 of a mile apart.
Okay.
The two, and they're each under half a mile from the Capitol building.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
So the whole idea that they were a diversion, this is where the conspiracy theorists start to take hold, right? So the RNC bomb was discovered around 1240 on January the 6th. Yep. And it was discovered by a just regular person. Her last name was Younger, I think. And she testified that when she located the bomb, which was like 1240, 1243, that the timer was stuck with 20 minutes left, that it wasn't moving, but it was stuck with 20 minutes left to go. And approximately 10 to 15 minutes later, an unknown person who I didn't mention because you can watch it in the video, who walks into that frame where those two Dodge Durangos are parked, apparently sees the bomb by the bench, goes over to the Metro police officer in that truck.
And the Secret Service.
And says something, we're presumably saying, hey, there's this bomb over here I just found. And about 2 minutes later, the police officers get out of the car with the Secret Service and they casually walk over and they see it. And that's when that one guy starts taking a picture of it. But there's kids walking by, there's like pedestrians, and they're not saying like, there's a bomb, get out of here. Like, it was very bizarre. Like, they were acting unusually casual for someone that just discovered
As
No,
it's
yeah.
time
Pipe bomb.
for us
Why
to-
are we taking a picture of the bomb the first thing we do? Like, why
Well,
is
no,
that?
but
Yeah.
also, Mike, to your point, it took them like I think a couple of minutes to even get out of their cars and
Correct.
stroll over there
To look
while
at it.
while little kids were walking by crossing the crosswalk. Like
Right.
they were taking their sweet time before they even went over and looked at this reported thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hey, there's a bomb right over there next to the hedge, guys.
Wouldn't you be
If
like,
that-
hey, everyone stop crossing the street,
Well,
stop in traffic?
you'd at least come out of that car pretty quickly and go take a look.
Especially if you're a Secret
right next
Service
to
agent
DNC. Yeah.
who is charged with protecting the vice president, and the vice
Who's
president is in the building.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
they
so-
get the guy's name? That
Yeah, we don't know who that guy is that told
So,
them, or we
here's
don't.
my-
They
Well,
may.
wait a
didn't
minute.
get the
Yeah.
name, or they just won't reveal it.
I don't know.
No, they said the Di D'Antuono guy in front of the Judiciary Committee, Mike, they asked him about did they ever investigate or get information on the person that found the bomb, and
Yeah.
even the one that they named, like what do we know about her? And he wasn't even sure they ever really interviewed those people.
Yeah, that was messed up. Not only was he not sure, he didn't even know if they had been interviewed, which
No.
can you imagine
Been on the
something
case for 2 years.
on the case for 2 years, a
God.
bomb is discovered on inauguration, not on the day where votes are certified, within spitting distance of a vice president, and they didn't even
Well,
interview
and
the guy
also-
that found it.
And also, Mike, this is the day that hundreds of thousands of Trump people are there protesting, gathering, whatever. Like these guys probably should have been on high alert that, we got to watch out for some, which we know they were.
Yeah.
Well, here,
Especially in front of the RNC or the DNC. More likely the DNC, but yeah, especially in front of those buildings. There should have been a cop on every corner there.
Well,
Well,
not
here's-
only that,
Hold on, wait a second.
Kamala Harris was the vice president elect. Why is there just these two
Correct.
bozos in the driveway?
right.
Yeah.
So
Why? So
sorry.
the person that found the bomb was not a Capitol Police officer.
apparently,
Well,
Did you take
it
in
was
pictures?
just a regular
no,
joke.
Desiree,
Maybe.
supposedly the reporter Needy, I believe, and I think it's even in that
Needy.
long article, Mike, there's speculation or there seems to be anonymous tips indicating that he was a plainclothes officer.
Now
Now that hasn't,
Which
but-
would mean
but-
they should have reacted even faster.
well, I'm just
Mhm.
saying, no matter what, I mean, does that make things a little more mysterious or
that's
less?
right. I forgot about that detail, Jack. You're right.
Well,
that
no,
was
you know what, Jack, actually, I don't think that makes it more mysterious because he is an officer. If he's there to protect, he would.
No,
be
Zeus,
Hold
Zeus,
on, let me finish.
No,
what I'm
Zeus,
saying.
let me finish for a second because the director said they weren't even sure if the people who found the bombs were even interviewed, and he couldn't ID the person who found the DNC
No.
bomb. If it's a plainclothes officer, they're going to attest to that.
That's not what I was getting at. See, that's why I wanted to hold off. What I'm saying is, if he was a plainclothes officer, I can endorse the fact that he would be more observant and more likely to see something that's out of the norm than the regular average person. That's all I was saying. But then, as
Well,
you
the thing was a pipe with a kitchen timer strapped to it with wires hanging out of it.
Yes,
I think if I stumbled upon that in front of the DNC and there was a cop there, I'd say, "Hey, you want to come look at this thing? It
Right,
looks
right.
like a bomb."
But what I'm saying is
Instead, you're snapping a
you wouldn't be
photo and
looking
then-
you wouldn't be looking for strange things. All I'm saying is that
These
it's
guys
not
weren't
surprising
looking
that a
either.
it's not surprising that a cop would find it before an average citizen.
Okay, well
Just-
then that officer's name should be known by
Exactly.
an
Right.
investigator.
And that
Dan
being
Cuomo.
said, if he was an officer, the first thing he would say is, "Look, I'm a police officer. Looks like there's a pipe bomb
Well,
there."
and
They
also-
should have
and
been-
And
also-
probably not
they should have
take a
been
picture.
falling out of the car.
And also the FBI would know who the FP was, and they'd be able to tell Congress that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of hinkiness.
Well, yes.
Also, hey, hold on. If you were like a person, just a normal person walking by, and you see that, this is how I would imagine this situation would go. I would walk by it, do like a double take or like a complete stare as I'm walking by, and then I would probably just say out loud, "Holy shit, that's a bomb!" Like I would say that.
Or you might think it's
You
a
know?
timer for water for sprinklers. I mean, that is
Yeah.
something you could assume it was. There's a
Or that,
lot of
but I mean-
different. Yes,
But
we're looking at it after the fact, Mike.
Well,
but
you said it looked like
Yeah.
a dildo.
Ass Pounder 2000.
So
What I'm
listen,
saying is, as a normal person, my first reaction would not be, "Ooh, let me snap a picture of this weird fucking thing in the bush."
here's
Well,
some
no, that-
context.
No,
Here's
that
some-
was the cop.
Yeah, well, look, the bottom line is whoever that guy with the backpack was, whether he was just a civilian or a cop, the fact that the director over this doesn't even know who the hell he is,
Right.
that sounds to me like they don't know who Ray Epps is.
yeah,
That stinks.
yeah. No, exactly.
Ray Epps is a fat white man.
It's way it's way too convenient. Listen, but
He is that.
here's some extra points to think
No, I
about.
meant the real Ray Epps.
The real Ray Epps.
I'm
He's
looking
a-
right at him.
Here's some
That's
extra
purple. Looks like a grape.
here's some extra points to think about. And these are like coincidences, okay? So we're to believe that a bomb was left at the RNC around the same time, 8 o'clock the night before, with a kitchen timer that was stuck on 20 minutes, that was found with 20 minutes left on it, 20 minutes before Congress started certifying the election, and about 8 minutes before the outer perimeter, that fence I was talking about around the Capitol, was breached. So that's an amazing coincidence. And then 10 minutes later, completely separately, no radio contact, not the same people, 0.2 of a mile away, this other person randomly, after it sits out there for 17 hours in plain sight, finds the other pipe bomb. Like it's all very like within like a 10-15 minute time span. Now, the other thing is, if you look at that bench, and you can get into the story, there's a paper cup sitting on the bench that was not there when the guy apparently dropped the bomb off. There's no record, and he was asked by Congress. There's no one knows where that cup is. It was never tested, saliva, whatever, no DNA, who knows? It was just sitting there on the bench, right where the guy sat on bench number 2, where the bomb was placed. We're also supposed to believe that all of this happened and Kamala Harris was in the building, even though she never admitted she was in that building until a year later. Her testimony, not testimony, it wasn't sworn, but what her office was saying was that she was in the Capitol, right?
Practicing stupid laughs.
Because she's the president of the Senate, right? The vice president she's not. I'm sorry. She was a congressperson at the time. That's right. So she wasn't in Mike Pence's role, but she was a member of Congress, technically. And she said that she was in the Capitol at the time. It didn't come out till a year later that she was not in the Capitol at the time. She was in the DNC 20 feet away from a pipe bomb. Now, all of this time, we have this administration that will exaggerate anything to get some political point.
Yeah, I was going to.
And we just had to sit through Biden, we sat through with the red speech, and then we had to sit through like the January 6th thing is the worst day in US history. And he never mentioned the pipe bomb. He never mentioned that Kamala Harris, his soon-to-be vice president at the time, was feet away from death. Like, he never even mentions that. Like, they never talk about it. They never, no one talks about this.
No, and also they had a whole January 6th committee televised in prime time. Yeah. And I don't remember it being brought up at all.
No,
and that was some time ago.
All right.
And lastly, and then I'm going to turn it loose, and I'm going to overlaying all of this. It has come out that after the fraudulent, whatever Nancy Pelosi January 6th committee, where she didn't allow the Republicans to pick their own members, when the House changed hands after the 2022 midterm elections, that committee is technically still going. Like, there's still people in Congress that are working on that. I think the guy's name's Loudermilk, I'm not sure. I can't remember what his name is. But anyway, the old committee had to turn over all the data that they had to the new committee, and they said, here we
I'm
have
sure they gave
there's 4 terabytes of video and all this other information we're going to give to you. Well, when the Republicans got it, it was like 2.7 terabytes. It was missing, and they took it and had it independently checked out by computer specialists like John Paul McIsaac, probably, our buddy who we should have on this episode.
Shout out.
Shout out. Actually, I've got an app where I gotta see if he can fix for me. But anyway, my point is they did these forensic deep dives into this stuff, and they found that 117 files by your Congress critters were missing, deleted, and they were able to recover them, except the recovered files are password protected. And the current committee has already requested from Bernie Thompson, who was the head of the last committee, and Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and all those dopes for the password. And they're like, I don't know what it is. So what is that data?
So
I'm saying that's overlying all of this.
So I got a question, and it's going to seem tangential, but it's really not. So I always say choreography versus conspiracy. So you've got one in front, you got one of these bombs in front of the RNC, you got one in front of the DNC. Both of them are inert, but both of them supposedly have explosives in them. Is it possible that they were always supposed to be inert because somebody was going to, and this is very conspiratorial, but somebody was going to shoot them from a distance with an incendiary round, with a silencer, and blow them up, depending on the way things went that day. If things look like it's going to be better on the Democrat side, they blow up the one in front of the DNC. If things are going to go, looks like they're going to go, whatever. But you see, my logic is that they were placed in front of two places that, depending on the situation, it could incite a certain reaction. So again, neither of them went off. Maybe things went fine.
Why have the timers on there?
Because who cares about the timers? They were inert anyway. A crack shot fucking marksman from a building across the street with a silencer.
Is a pipe bomb the best bomb to use for that?
It's not about killing anybody. It's about inciting unrest. What if it's just that? It wasn't supposed to kill anybody. They weren't supposed to do any real damage. They were supposed to cause alarm. And if it was on the RNC, they could blame it on them. If it was on the DNC, they could still blame it on the RNC, but it might be better to go up in front of the DNC.
Yeah, why would they put Kamala Harris in there? And why would they have a cop and a Secret Service agent?
Because they're all in on it.
But to Zeus's point, here's one little factoid I forgot to mention. Before Kamala Harris was there, that building, and there's record that it was swept by an advanced team of the Secret Service.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't find any bombs or anything. So
does my theory sound cockamamie?
Well, yeah, but let's figure out how the bombs even got there before we talk about how they're going to detonate them. That's what Mike's getting at.
Yeah, we're supposed to believe that the U.S. Secret Service did a sweep of this building, and which they do all over the world, anywhere that these people, president, vice president, whoever they're protecting, travel, they do these sweeps, and there is zero chance that they missed this bomb. And they also had canines who smell. That's why the testimony from this gentleman who said that there was actual explosives in them. So I'm supposed to believe that 17 hours before, this guy puts his bomb in down there that has a 1-hour timer on it. It's missed by the Secret Service. It's missed by canines that can smell explosives. And then it's found 15 minutes before the other bomb, or 20 minutes before the other bomb's supposed to go off, right at 1 o'clock. I mean, there's just too much with a 1-hour timer.
You're kind of supporting my conspiracy. Is that
well, we're definitely getting at a conspiracy.
Being there than them just being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole. That's the right. But Mike, what I want to know is where's the video footage? Because we have
Of
the
the dog
guy.
sniffing.
No, like
Yeah,
we
and good
have the
point.
guy. We have the guy at 8 o'clock at
Guys,
night.
you're a spitfire.
But that's what I. So where's all the footage the day of January 6th, the morning of, the
Right.
afternoon of,
So the
leading?
the only footage they
Right back
released
at
was
you.
that 7 minute part, which I took a lot of those stills from. That's what and again, this isn't the Friends of Zeus podcast asking for this. This is
Reporters, Congress.
But this is Congress is asking for this from our Department of Justice, which, for those watching at home, Congress outranks the Department of Justice, right? So they're asking for that information. Where is the rest of this footage? And they are getting stonewalled.
Well, they forgot
And
the password. They all
and-
forgot
I
the
bet you the
password.
fucking password's like White House.
well, that's a whole, but that's a
then.
whole, I'm saying that's overlapping this story. That thing that I said about the missing 1 point whatever terabytes, 117
Yeah,
files.
but that's got to be in there, Mike, because the video of those surveillance cameras, like they don't just shut off after this guy gets up and leaves.
Well, that's the thing. So here's the thing, and why that's important. If that footage is part of the 117 files,
Yes,
boys and girls, this makes Watergate look like bullshit. Like this
Right.
is ridiculous. We're in the Twilight Zone if that's the case.
Well, it's got to be. And then also the fact, like you said, they've sensationalized, you know, a few thousand idiots walking in between velvet ropes when the cops inviting them in and calling that a revolution attempt that would end democracy as we know it. Why wouldn't they play up the fact that these psycho MAGA people brought bombs that day? That we keep hearing about how nobody had weapons. Why aren't they playing up the bombs? That's one
Right.
thing. It's almost like they
Just
realized,
lie
oh
about
shit.
it.
It's kind of like they realized, oh shit, maybe that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because it looks so sloppy.
And what was the point of it? And there's no way to really know. I mean, that's the thing.
But
It's
Mike,
yeah, I'm sorry.
do you know about tell us about the geofencing data?
Yeah, so
Oh yeah. That
so
was Dan Tuono testified about that too.
Yeah, do you want to
Well, I mean,
go into it, Jack?
basically what he said is, standard, we went to all the telecommunications companies, but unfortunately the files were partly corrupted and some not corrupted, and he doesn't really know. He can't testify to that, but he thinks that that's a possibility. And he actually used the term conspiracy theory like as a joke. He goes, like, I know that this feeds into these conspiracy theories. Oh, and also I should note that guy Dan Tuono, I read in the article, he's sort of takes a big part in two things. One, he's like a leader of a task force about misinformation and disinformation. That's interesting. And then also he was the guy in charge of the Michigan Whitmer kidnapping, which turned out to have mostly feds.
I did. I mean, I knew about the Whitmer. I did not know he was part of it. I didn't read that.
Mike, while you guys go, I'm going to try to find the language here.
Geocaching for our viewer out there is basically geofencing. Yes, not geocaching, which is actually
I love geocaching.
Geocaching
is a
Pipe
fun
bomb
game.
was a geocache.
Geofencing.
I'm sorry.
Probably was.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is what I found on this guy. Oh no, it's not him. It's the woman who found the RNC bomb.
Younger.
Yeah, it turns out that she actually has a place of employment, Pendulum. So I was wrong. It's not him. She works for Pendulum, a company staffed with DoD, DARPA, and CIA alums. Wait, no, listen to this. Listen to this.
We broke it here on the Foz podcast.
I can't get it out. A company that does business with the government to combat misinformation online.
Oh, it seems like they'd be really good at causing misinformation as well.
Yeah, wouldn't you think? But no, Dan Tuono was associated with the Whitmer kidnapping, which obviously we know now was mostly feds.
Here's the thing, and I got to hear from Tom because he's on a sabbatical from his sabbatical, so I got to listen to what he has to say. But I'm just saying, to me, where I get incredulous is like Michael or Ray you're being conspiratorial, da 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 da, like all this
Great,
stuff.
mark the
And
time.
I'm like, you know, okay, I have a couple questions that are incredibly valid. I mean, and it's not just me, it's like members of Congress. And I am being told on one hand that January 6th, 2021, and what happened that day is so horrendous that we need to keep someone from being on a ballot and running for president of the United States who has overwhelming support from the vast majority of people, that it's that important, except this thing, which is hugely important as well and has all these weird questions. We just need to put that away, and you can't ask about that. I mean, that's the part to me where I can't do that. I have to ask, right? I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like
well, you
it's
know
a
what?
disaster.
I think Zeus was onto something when he suggested that maybe this bomb happens if things turn out this way.
It was a pendulum effect.
Wait, and that bomb happens. See, I think you're onto something, Zeus, but not in the sense of any bombs going off or one or only one going off. I think once the word got out to the agents that, hey, they just breached the cat. Once the word got out that the Trump supporters had breached the Capitol and they'd already basically broken the law and caused a ruckus, they didn't need any bomb story
exactly
anymore.
That's what I was getting at. And I think Tom caught this, but I said a pendulum effect, and isn't that the name of the company that you said that?
Yeah
and
that's the young woman that found the first bomb. We still don't know the backpack guy who found the second bomb.
Wow.
Pendulum.
So Tom, you gotta what's your feels, Tom?
Yeah, I think it was I don't think these were real, like, active bombs.
I don't
I
either.
think they were obvious the way they're placed and the way they look. Because if it was a real one and you want it, you would kind of stick it more in the bushes there.
Or somewhere else.
Wanted it to be seen.
Well, I remember when I was putting it in
distraction.
there, I was like, there was like this weird squirrel, and I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, I think you would want to push it more into the bushes there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or cover it,
Yeah.
put it
I
inside
love
of a
how-
brown bag or whatever.
Remember when we were talking
In
about
the
it, Tom?
article, even the article, they say dropped several times, and those were clearly not dropped but placed.
Yeah. With the little clock facing outward, not facing the ground.
Leaving less doubt that they were pipe bombs. I mean, like I said, maybe an old man walking by thinks that it's like a timer for a sprinkler or something, but overall, our knowledge of pop culture and all the bombs we've seen in movies that are pipe bombs, they've always got a timer like that. The only thing that would make it more incriminating if it was like a little red LED going 5, 4, 3. You know what I mean?
Beep, 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 beep.
Here's the other weird, the weird thing that I can't get my head around, and I got to think about more. And in the article, the gentleman even says this. I don't know about the RNC, but the DNC area, there's a highly trafficked area. Like, there's a lot of people walking by. I mean, the cup was on the bench. There's in the video in 7 minutes, I think like 30 people walk by. So we're supposed to believe that no one saw this thing until
it was sitting right out
until 8 minutes after the RNC one was found. All of a sudden, this one gets discovered. Like, we're supposed to believe that.
It's more.
Well, no, but again, they conveniently discover these things because they're placed in a sloppy, obvious fashion. That's the problem. Maybe that's why they ended up burying this. Because if they were placed to be discovered and then say, oh my goodness, these MAGA people brought bombs, they must have placed them right before they said the jig is up, and then they said, okay, just find the bombs and report the bombs, let's move on. You know what I mean? Like you said, they couldn't have been sitting there that whole time if it's a highly trafficked. The thing was sitting right out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's crazy the dogs didn't sniff them.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they were there. I don't think they were there.
They weren't there.
I don't know if I believe.
There's no way
they could have been there, but without any bomb, without any like active material.
But if you look at the frame rate issue on the cameras, which to Tom's point, they could just be old. Okay, so I can accept. But what if not? And then the time frame and all the people walking by and it's not getting discovered. And then the timing where they're discovered right near each other, right before 1 o'clock. Like, to me, I don't know that they were there for 17 hours.
And then
I
also,
want to
Mike,
see the video
also,
footage of the dogs sniffing for bombs.
I'm with you. I'm
Well,
with
no,
you,
but
Desiree. That's a
then-
great
Wait,
point.
But we
But
saw
then-
the
but-
guy. So you don't believe that the timestamp in the video is real?
I think the timestamp in the
but
video is real, but there's a lot of video missing.
The guy was not just like, "Hey, bomb."
well,
I
well,
know, but
also,
he put the bomb.
well,
But
no,
the bomb
wait,
was
wait.
obviously placed like.
No, we
what
don't
was it,
see the
12
bomb.
I don't
It could
think
have
they-
been
Can you guys
anybody.
hear me at all?
That's
Okay,
what I'm
I can hear
saying.
you now.
So
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just
No, what-
talking
no.
over you.
No, you guys, yeah, I know. You guys are missing what we just talked about, which is the fact that we have one identified bomb discoverer who working for Pendulum with all of these former like agents,
I know.
and then we
But
have
everybody
the
in
other
DC works for something
no,
like
but
that. I mean,
no, but then you have the other bomb discoverer who we know nothing about, even though he engaged with police and Secret Service. How
no,
is
I'm talking
that
about the bomb
possible?
placer.
How is it possible there's no ID on the
Maybe he
guy
was
who
like,
finds
maybe
the
he was
bomb?
like this.
Well, I'd like to know how they don't. So here's another thing, and this is a whole other article which I read like 2 years ago, and I want to look and see if I can find it. But when they did this geofencing thing, I had heard a previous story where they were able to track this guy to a metro station, and they were able, since he used a smart card, they were able to track it and narrow it down to like one of like 40 people that it had
Wow.
to
They
be, like, where they had
probably-
names and addresses.
Yeah.
And
With that technology, they probably could have tracked it down to when he purchased it based on numbers and
here's the other
Hold
thing
on, wait a
too.
second. Are we
Yeah.
assuming that bomb placer is also the bomb discoverer?
perhaps.
could be.
Yeah, perhaps.
I don't know,
The
maybe.
guy with the backpack. Could be.
I
the
mean,
same
how-
guy.
Yeah.
Probably one of the more open, like, again, I don't think conspiracy anymore. Again, I lean towards choreography. They planned one dance, they didn't have to do that dance, and everything, they backed off. I really, if you would
Yeah, I
ask
mean-
me what my opinion of what happened was, it would be that they placed him in front of both places
Mhm.
and wanted to have the pendulum swing one way or the other. And they got people way smarter than us to like figure out which is the best one to shoot and blow up than we would ever know. They if we blow this one up, then it's gonna fucking be anarchy. If we blow this
But-
one up, it looks good for
No,
us.
no,
I'm with Tom though. I don't think they were ever going to blow up, whether they had
Because they
material
didn't.
or not. Well, I'm just saying, shooting it. I mean, that just adds a whole other layer of. I just
But
think
it's
there's
not-
easier
it's
ways
not
to
a
do
there
it.
a
realm of
remote detonator?
possibility.
Well, here's the other thing. So the government is in possession of these devices, and all
I
we
thought
have are the pictures.
robot like destroyed it, right?
Well, the pieces, I should say.
They're in
Yes.
right.
Well, that's the other thing too. So they sent a robot in to disarm it after
yes.
everyone was just sitting there taking their pictures with it, letting little kids walking by.
Mhm,
Then they got the
right.
robot to like blow
Taking
it
a
up.
fucking TikTok.
None of this makes sense. And here's the other thing. Look,
Bomb
I've already said
selfies.
this in previous episodes, so I'm not giving anything away. But I was down there that day, and listen, it was packed. You're talking about in a, I don't know, 10 to 20 square block area. In addition to the people that live there, in addition to the people that work there, because this was on a Wednesday, January 6th was a Wednesday, you had about an additional 400,000 people, right? 300 plus at the rally, plus counter protesters and law enforcement. You're getting it to be like almost the size of the population of Baltimore, which is going to win this week against Kansas City, Desiree. But
We'll
my
see about
point
that.
is,
Do they really play?
yeah,
But-
they're playing this weekend. But my point is, it's like, I don't understand, as someone that was in the area that day and seeing just the massive humanity that, and this is a well-traveled spot, that it didn't get discovered until 20 minutes before. It just doesn't make sense. It just
Can
doesn't
I
make
say
sense.
this though? I think your argument on foot traffic there, that's where I draw a little
Look at the video.
question. No,
Look how
no,
many people walk by.
but dude, you're talking about blocks away from the Capitol.
I know.
But what I'm saying is, I think that the foot traffic should have been far more like heavy foot traffic. people coming from hotels. There's 2 hotels that were on your map that are right by.
Yeah, that are right there.
That's right in the trajectory of where they could have been going. So
I'm gonna bring the map back up. Just
you know, it'd be an interesting thing to look at is what streets were blocked off at that period. I'll bet you, interestingly enough, that they were blocked off around those 2, where those 2 bombs were. To
Can you guys see that?
passively direct a large portion of the traffic away from that area. Yeah, like Residence
the
Inn
DNC?
is there,
Is it that
Hyatt.
little blue line at the bottom?
Yeah, right here, 430 South, Capitol Street, Southeast.
Okay.
This is the DNC, and right up here is the RNC.
There's 2
And
hotels.
again, all
right
the
down
flow,
there.
all the people were walking this way. We're up here.
And dude, DC
But
is
listen, there's some people like after all this stuff, I was actually down in this general vicinity, and it was like after a major sport event let out.
Mike,
you know what I'm saying?
Oddly close to where the DNC bomb was placed.
Later, well, I was probably there.
That little blue line, that's the path that Mike took.
This is the path I took. This is where I went.
Mike's map quest.
But I'm saying around 3 o'clock, I was in this general vicinity, and it was like if you guys ever went to a major sports event and like it let out, that's what it was like. And around 3 p.m. in this area. So I just have a hard time believing that here, well, that here, right here, that it didn't get. I mean, I'm just saying it's a coincidence. It's a lot.
I could kind of see it happening. I mean,
but I don't see that amount of foot traffic. That amount of foot traffic seems immensely low for how close to the Capitol it was that day.
Like I said, from here to here, between these 2 spots is less than half a mile.
With all the police cars around, I would assume, okay, if that's a real bomb, they would know about it already. So I would just kind of keep on walking, maybe.
Yeah, I think people make mistakes. They go down the wrong road, and you've seen people walking around aimlessly in DC. It's fucking ludicrous. So to think that a larger portion of people
Joe Biden,
yeah, but what I'm saying is to think that a larger portion of people that were traveling in DC at that time weren't going by that. I think that is a minuscule amount of people.
Right. I'm not saying everyone was going by it, but
no, anyway. But what I'm saying is that seems convenient as well. Because you have more people, you have more eyes. You have more eyes, you have more people that can see that as a time.
Hey,
right,
Mike,
but listen, when you're walking
Mike,
around, no one go ahead.
No, Mike, I was gonna say, I mean, to back Zeus up again, as far as not having as much foot traffic, just go to the videotape. I mean, when you look at that video where the 2 cops are, other than that group of kids that crosses the street, there's not a lot of milling around. I mean, you see,
they're not milling.
A big day in DC. A big day in DC.
Yeah, everybody seems to be closer to the Capitol than hanging out in front of the DNC. It seems like there's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of people in that video.
And what time was it? What time was it that they quote found the bomb?
About 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Right around lunch hour.
It's also when the breach happened, right? So people are
it was
over there.
Within I'll say within 20 minutes, because
there wasn't even car traffic.
Within 20 minutes, the RNC bomb was discovered, and then completely independently, with no radio traffic, the DNC bomb was discovered.
Right, that's shady.
And the Capitol grounds were breached, all within a 20-minute span of time.
And
that is astounding.
All right, well, Mike,
a bomb in front of the building. Why aren't there fucking 5 other cop cars or fucking Durangos, whatever? Why wasn't it flooded with fucking?
I don't know.
Good question.
They're busy.
This
They're
makes
busy
sense.
keeping.
It's almost like they knew that they were harmless.
Yeah,
looked harmless,
or that they were not
from Gilligan's Island
to go off.
Yeah, hey, Mike, you know,
they decided not to set them off.
Perhaps they wanted. Maybe these guys are right. Maybe. Let's say that they were left out there the night before and no one discovered them except for these agents. Mysterious. Well, one, we don't know who he is. And the other one has links to the, let's just call it the FBI, right? The DOD and the CIA. Okay,
DARPA.
so what if these bombs were intended to be found by John Q. Public, but everybody was so busy doing what they were doing that nobody discovered them? So then
That's
it's
what
like,
I'm saying.
right?
Where-
So then it's like we invented this whole ruse. Somebody's got to find these bombs. And
Jack,
so,
I think that's right. Oh
Right,
my
so
God, man.
That's what I've been
Right.
saying. We are seeing
So-
Plan B. This is Plan B.
well, no, it's almost like Plan A was so stupid and they didn't need to use it. Then they buried it. They were like,
Right.
yeah, this, you know
So
what I
they
mean?
leave-
Like,
They leave
Yeah,
Plan
they
B for
buried
us
it.
to chew on. That's the meaty bone for us to
no, but
fucking try and-
they didn't give it. They buried the meaty bone. They didn't even want to cover
They
it.
had to bury it because it was contrived.
Right.
Exactly.
Jack, I think that makes a ton of sense, man.
Well, think about
Hold on, the RNC bomb, we didn't talk about that one, but that one is in more plain sight than the DNC bomb.
Correct.
Like,
We
that
have
is
a
right
picture
there
of
on
the
the
RNC bomb, Mike.
The
well,
RNC,
the RNC bomb was found behind a dumpster, behind
yeah,
like a
actually,
bar.
it was
That
less.
was the dildo, Zeus.
Not
was the
from the
dildo.
video, it looks like it was like right at the front
Have they
door,
checked
like
this
off to the
bomb for
side.
fecal matter?
What?
Ass Pounder 2000. Come
Right.
on, get with the program.
Let me go to.
I'm just saying DNA evidence.
No, that's
That's
the
the
Because
DNA.
RNC bomb.
That's RNC.
Okay, well, hold on though,
Where
because
is
the
that?
way that he's dropping
I don't
it,
see
it
it.
looks.
No, different bomb, Des.
That's the RNC bomb,
This
and
we're talking about the RNC bomb
that's
that
the
the woman
DNC
found.
bomb.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. So, like, it looks like, okay, the RNC.
That's
What is the
behind a
placement
dumpster.
of that
Hold on.
bomb?
It's like, but it's not behind a dumpster. It's like in the front yard behind, like, maybe like a rock. Like, I know that doesn't
Little
look like a rock, but
gravel.
it is, or like a mailbox.
You know,
This,
no, you know what
this
that
looks
looks
like
like?
a rat trap.
like-
This looks like rat
That
poison.
actually looks like it looks like a rat trap that they put outside a
That's
building.
what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, by a dumpster.
Yeah, by like a front, no, because the video it's like the front door and like the foyer, like
What?
and like the walkway up to the door, and then he drops it behind
That-
some shit.
Wait, is there a
Like
video
in the
of that
grass.
bomb as
Yes,
well?
there is. Yeah.
Wow.
The same guy dropping it off, right?
It looked like the same guy.
Yes, it's the same. It looks like the same guy.
Right.
Yeah, this image strikes me because here's all these guys. And again, if you watch the video, there's no one is running. They're just they're milling around like no
And
big deal.
You know what? Here's an interesting thing. They don't look the same.
What do you
Well,
mean?
They're different. The construction of
Oh, the
them
bombs, yeah.
is different. Hello?
They look pretty close.
No, I'm just switching back and forth between them.
Yeah, I mean,
Here,
I know one
that
looks
would
like it's
that would
got a
lead me to
long,
believe that they're fake bombs. Then,
one looks like it has a
if
long
he was building
flat
real
shaft.
bombs, he would make
The
it
other one looks
exactly
like
the
it has a
same,
long silver shaft.
right?
Yeah, you would think so.
Thank you, Jack.
Well, listen, that's all. I mean, I'm happy to keep talking about it, but that's really all I have. And I'm going to
No,
link
that-
a lot of stuff to this, but I just wanted to shine a light on it because, one, I listened to it on the radio. And like I said, shout out to Bongino. I don't really listen to him a lot. He's a
Oh,
little,
hell no. He
but-
fucking rocks, man.
but the guy who
think.
he interviewed was very compelling. And I looked it up and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I think there's a lot more to this. Again, this story was published on the 18th, which is 5 days ago. And we're not the only. When I looked this up, I wasn't going to do this episode because when I started looking it up, everyone is talking about this. So
Now they are.
Now they are.
Let's see how long that lasts. Let's try and keep this in our own personal calendars to look back
Yeah.
on like 5 months from now.
Well, wait a second. The only reason we're talking about it now is because of the journalists. Because remember, this congressional hearing with D'Antuono was in June.
Correct.
So this story was already dead in the water.
Correct.
I mean, no one was reporting it. No one was investigating it except for this guy with revolver.
Correct.
And I think another guy with the blaze. I could be wrong about
With the
that.
blaze, yeah. I mean, and the fact that, again, it's a brilliantly written article because he doesn't even get into what ifs. He's just like, you tell me. Basically, it's like, you tell me. Like, here's what we know, facts. Here's the backup. here's my references. Here's where
Here's the videos.
here's the videos. You tell me how this fits, how this works.
In the chat, I
And I
sent the
can't.
video of the RNC surveillance.
Oh, you did?
Video.
Yeah,
So can I play
Let me
this?
see.
you should be able to click it. It's like a YouTube link or something.
Oh, this is the guy
Oh.
allegedly dropping off.
Is this
His name, by the way, it's Darren Beattie, Beattie.
That's the reporter.
Revolver.com.
Beattie?
Thanks, Tom.
Desiree. Oh, you can't minimize. Okay, I can't. Yeah, I will add some video from that.
Did you
Okay.
see it?
I do see it. Yes, but I
Do you
can't
see
play
what
it
I'm
right
saying?
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
Is it like
I can't play
copyright or
it.
something?
I don't know. It's not letting me, but I'll add it. I'll add it. I'll splice it in. I mean, what here? Again, this is like the box in the box. My whole thing is like, it's curious, but the other thing I'm curious about is why aren't there so many other people curious about it? Right? I mean, we just had to sit through this whole January 6th committee. They never even talked about this.
No.
I
So,
thought,
yeah.
It didn't
So,
support
whoa,
their narrative.
whoa. It's sabbatical time. What's up?
sorry. I was just gonna say, so if you wanted to do a distraction right before 1 o'clock, wouldn't it be so much easier to just phone in a bomb threat? 12:45, you just call the DNC, say, hey, there's a bomb. Same thing with the RNC.
Maybe,
Then all of a sudden you've got all
Yeah,
the.
but what has more effect, a bomb threat or an actual?
maybe there
Well,
was.
the idea is to get the police over there away from the Capitol, right?
Right.
That's the goal.
So yeah,
could
you
do
could
that
just
with
do
a
it by
bomb threat.
phone.
Yeah, just phone it in.
Still, with the gravity of what January 6th was, whether it was an insurrection or whatever, I think that a minimal group of people would have gone off to the quote bombs that didn't blow up. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, our nation's capital is under attack. That's where they're gonna keep the bulk of their
But
resources. They're gonna send bomb squad, a couple dogs, maybe a robot, both places, done.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
the goal.
I don't think that would draw. I don't think it would draw away from people walking across the Capitol doors.
Maybe whoever planned it was hoping that it would be a bigger distraction.
Right.
Again, I lean back towards, I still fully feel like this was a plan A or B situation that never occurred. That's what I think. I think they could have blown them up. They could have.
And they did such a lousy job at it that they kind of just they had no choice but to try to cover their ass after the fact. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a CYA, whatever it was.
Who's the they? Who's the
I don't know.
Them.
Here's the other curious thing.
Yeah, whoever Ray Epps works for.
Here's the other curious thing. To me, this just reeks of a setup because like I said, I'm just using myself as an example. I'm into politics. I live in this area. I follow this stuff.
You were very.
I would never in a million years. I didn't even know that the RNC and DNC headquarters were in DC. Like I didn't even know. In other words, this is inside baseball. Like whoever.
By your map where you said you were was awful close to where.
No, but my point is no one even knows.
Wait, Mike, do you have a white hoodie?
No, I don't. And look, I wish I looked that good. But listen, my point is, I don't think who in the world even cares about the RNC and DNC headquarters. No one even knows where they are. Like this just reeks of inside baseball. It's not like they were at Supreme Court or someplace that everyone knew about. This was like, I don't know, man. To me, who does that?
It's hanky all over the place. Like it is.
It's
hanky, meaty bone to chew on.
And our fantastic media doesn't seem interested.
It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. And I think, honestly, this is not that it's going to be like a Foz expose and suddenly this is going to be the one that blows us up, but this was a very interesting pretty well researched by you guys. I just kind of jumped in at the last minute.
It's all there. We'll link
I was
to
trying
it.
to get elected myself. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should totally place 2 bombs next to one.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. That's how you do it.
That's a good idea, Zeus. You
How
should
you
Yes,
go
do
for
it
it.
is. I'll win
Well,
over
wait a
you.
second. All I know is because of this journalist making the rounds on like the Blaze and Tucker Carlson on X. I've seen him on there. The Judiciary Committee, whoever, Massey and Jordan and these guys that tried to grill D'Antuono, that was back in June, like I said.
Correct.
Maybe this will light the fire under those guys to focus back on this.
That's what I'm hoping.
And I know they're busy. They've been dealing with the Hunter Biden issue and everything else and the Joe Biden investigation, but they shouldn't just sleep on this, now that this is at least, if the friends of Zeus are talking about it, then
Other people are.
those congressional reps have to get right on it, and I hope they do.
So here is my question, and I think this is a great question to wrap it up. I'm stating the question, so of course I think it's good. But
wait, let's go to Zeus and Desiree and then Tom, and then we'll wrap it up.
Here's my question, and we'll go round robin with this. If we were to pick which side of the aisle placed both bombs, because I don't think that they were placed by 2 separate individuals, which side would we say placed those bombs?
I think you're asking the wrong question. I don't think it was any side of the aisle. It's the establishment. I think it's the powers that be, man.
You mean like
it's not party?
Illuminati?
I'm saying this is not a party question.
I completely think it is.
Okay.
I
mean, Mike, I get your point that there's quote unquote, the deep state, or that it's really one party that oversees both parties, or however you want to envision this powerful hierarchy, right? But the thing is, somebody's got to be complicit in any cover up, and that is one party.
True. No, that is true. That is.
And why would the side cover it up unless they had something to lose?
Well,
otherwise, that's
a good point.
And also, let's call a spade. Which party's running things from everything we can tell right now? And which party had the most to benefit if there were really bombs and they went off or anything like that? The day that Trump was giving a huge speech and hundreds of thousands of MAGA Republicans were there to cause what ended up being January 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just get blamed on them. That only helps one party more than the other.
That's a good point.
You're saying the Republicans planted it then?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Zeus. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Desiree, what you got?
I think the guy in the hoodie's Adam Schiff.
There you go.
I want answers to that question though.
That's a joke, by the way. Anyway, go ahead, Zeus.
So I want answers to the question. Who do you think, if you had to pick a side?
Well, I just did.
Yeah, I agree with Jack.
It's got to be the Democrats. They have the most to gain.
I think the DNC placed them because in case there was not an insurrection,
correct.
Yeah,
they could do something.
Yeah, that's
then
what I'm
blame on the
saying.
Republican Party. Yeah.
It was
that makes so much sense. It's ridiculous. I got to really
plan
think
B.
about
That's
that.
what I was getting at. This is the plan B.
And of course, no one walking by saw them because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, where do you hide a dead body? Second page of Google, pretty much fucking right in front of everyone's faces.
Second page of Google.
Right. Yeah. What's that? Hey, what's that story? The purloined letter, and it's sitting on the desk the whole time.
Yeah. No, it's a great point.
When you lose your keys and they're like in your pocket or something.
No, they're always in the refrigerator.
There. Or somebody or on the counter or your phones. Yeah, you never heard that, Mike?
No, I have now. No, look, I think you're on. I think you and Jack are onto something. It makes sense. It crosses all the T's and dots all the I's.
Mm-hmm. I get no credit on this.
I know, but they're being very specific, and I would
agree. Did you? I texted that video of the guy dropped.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I text that video of the guy dropping the bomb in front of the RNC in the group text. Did you guys watch it?
No, I have not.
We're doing the show.
I know, but it's like
I'm on my podcast. No, I can't watch it. I'm on my podcast right now.
Mike, now is it like connected to your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm looking at it right now.
But Mike.
And so I'm just saying that it was not, and it was right in front of the house, like right in front of the shit.
Yeah. And Mike,
Oh wow.
saying
Yeah.
they are being specific.
Somebody walking on the sidewalk could have seen that more than somebody just sitting on that bench, if there was anyone sitting on that bench.
I agree.
Mike, to argue your point of their specificity, my argument is that being non-specific with this is what they was the goal.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh
with
no,
you.
I think it was specific, and I think they were going to blow them both up.
Right, but
I don't think it was one or the other.
The
I
plan
don't even
B
know if they were
part of
going to
it
blow them
is
up.
the plan B part of it is the non-specific part. This was not one or the other, is what I'm saying. Insurrection, bombs blown up. Something was going to happen. They waited.
Or bombs found or whatever.
Right. They had so many X factors that they could throw into this. They could have the bombs blow up. They could say they could make up a call that came in and said that these bombs were going to blow up Kamala when she drove by.
Or what if that person, the unidentified bomb finder, was really just a fuckhead that was walking by like, hey, there's a bomb. It blew everything. It fucked it up for everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all
They
true.
were just
But
placed
then,
there and nothing was going on.
yeah, but then also, as far as it being a botched job, that's probably why they didn't overplay it. Like you said in the beginning, Mike,
Exactly.
if this was part of the January 6th conspiracy of the MAGA people, this would be the biggest. That would be a huge. They would just be talking about that constantly. Kamala Harris was almost blown to smithereens because of these MAGA terrorists, right?
Yeah.
And I think they did such a lousy job that they said, "Oh shit, we probably don't want to keep talking about the bombs. No bombs. Ixnay on the arms bay."
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
That should be the title of the show.
Yeah. What do you think, Tom?
Ixnay on the arms bay.
You've got the last say,
Yeah,
Tom. What do you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever find out who it was.
Never.
Personally, it doesn't look like a Trump supporter, unless he was like going undercover with the way he was dressing. Because a Trump supporter probably would have been wearing Timbs and some a camo jacket or something like that.
Or a fucking big fur hat with two horns sticking out.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great if it was white? If it was a white like snow jacket, but then the hood has
who that
little
was.
points.
Yeah, it's like the hood is shaped with horns. Yeah, 100%, man. I think we're on to something.
That
it
is a
just doesn't
meme I
look
want to
like
see.
The shoes, everything.
Make that happen. That is a meme I've got to see. We think we figured out who it was. It's got the fucking Fred Flintstone fucking whatever the
Grand Poobah.
The Grand Poobah.
Of course.
All right, Jack. Calgon, take me away.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I get the sense we've been on for a while. So I think it's time to wrap things up. Zeus, you want to sign us out?
Let's wrap it up.
Go Ravens.